It's the foreheads. It's the foreheads. We're in our rooms and we're talking about AI.
Yo. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the greatest disaster on the internet. It's the Foreheads Podcast. I'm Goldenboy. You got Bren, Reinforced, and Sideshow. And today we decided that we are going to talk about video games. Yay!
Yay, video games.
Yay.
We did it.
You say it with such enthusiasm, but I just know that it's going to go into like Icelandic fish culture or like Asian jungle trees.
Or just hardcore politics. Just politics and religion halfway through, and everyone hates
Fix
it.
my chair. Hold on, my chair's not. My chair.
The
okay, there we
Vatican
go.
State and its impact on its 2020 landscape.
Dude, that actually sounds like a solid conversation. I don't know anything about it, nor
I
do
want to
know
go
anything.
there. Foreheads Travel Channel to Vatican, dude. Let's
You
go.
have,
Vatican.
you have to stop, okay? We're gonna do it, but the problem is that the world is dealing with a freaking pandemic right now, despite what anyone else would say. Eventually, we will. Actually, before we jump into the conversation of video games, I do want to share this. Me and my wife, obligatory.
Oh, there we go. Mentioned his wife in the first 10
here in
seconds.
New York City, which is right next to Brooklyn and the Bronx.
2 minutes in.
Where are you from, by the way, Alex?
From the Bronx. We made we made a Japanese curry, and as we were like making it, and do you know you guys know Tatiana, right?
Yes, I do actually.
Todd. Yeah. Anyway,
Tatiana's cousin.
No. She suggested like this curry block recipe for us, so we use that. I made curry before, like homemade, like completely from scratch. But I was just like, nah, I don't want to do that again. So she like suggested these like curry blocks, and we did that. As we're eating it, I just told Cynthia, I was like, babe, when this is all over, I'm flying to Japan. I don't know how, when, where. I'm going straight to Japan, and that's what I want.
Did I enter a fever dream halfway through the intro? You said we were going to talk about video games, and then immediately you talk about curry and flying to Japan.
Because Johnny mentioned traveling, and I thought, wouldn't it be great if the Foreheads went to Japan together? How good would that be?
Okay, well, let me tell you, I got some good news for you because the government of Japan is considering passing a emergency funding bill for tourism up to 12 billion, I think. And they're
going to pay us 12 billion to go to Japan.
They're paying if you travel. I think they want to pass it around June. If you book a trip, they will pay for half of your trip.
Dude.
Yeah.
What?
Right,
Yeah,
but
if you want to go to Japan, but
is that a good idea?
Yeah, during COVID,
we're safe.
You're not. You're in like the biggest global hotspot in New York.
I actually think that you are banned from traveling to Japan.
Probably
not you personally, but I think given that we're in the US, I think
this is where Goldenboy says it's because his Puerto Rican background. He makes a joke about it.
There's the bingo
because
card.
of my brownness. It's my brownness, you know.
I've heard that joke too many times.
You know me too well, Johnny. Okay, video games.
Sorry, I feel like an absolute
son of a bitch.
Yeah, the United States is currently banned from entering Japan.
I feel like a husk of a human this morning. I've woken up and we're recording a podcast and I'm scraping some parsnip soup out of a bowl for sustenance.
Are you wearing the same?
I'm wearing the same clothes that I wore yesterday because someone knocked on our door and I was asleep and had to run and get the door and then just forgot that I was wearing these clothes. I haven't showered. I'm an absolute wreck, and it's because I've been grinding Valorant. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I'm just addicted.
You could have. Well. Yeah, whatever.
I was up early because I don't know if you guys know, but my TV show, well, not mine, Dwayne Johnson's, but I'm in it. The Titan Games went out yesterday, so we actually did like a whole media day today. So I needed to be up super early. I didn't stream yesterday. I was really bummed because Minecraft is the greatest game in the planet Earth and beyond, and I'm mad I wasn't able to play it. Well, I did play it, but I didn't stream it. That said, though, video games. Let's talk about video games, for goodness sake. First video game that we're going to talk about is one that I've been I love the fact that I was able to bring Bren on this adventure with me. It was really great.
Sorry.
So Amazon released this new game called The
Oh my
Crucible.
fucking
yeah.
god!
Now, the reason why I was interested in this game was because one, it was a new multiplayer game, so it's like, sure, why not? I had a buddy of mine who worked on the game. Also, I played this game when I worked at Twitch years ago.
Oh, really?
When it was just a battle royale game. So the concept was you would land on this planet, scrounge for gear, equipment, whatever you could find. There was like a crafting mechanic that was involved in it. And then if let's say it was I think 12 players. Yeah, it was 12 players, right? So we'll land in different areas of the planet. And then if you and I, Josh, right, for example, we saw that Bren and Johnny were teaming up together. We could team up together too through like a squad system in game. But if at some point in time, because it's very typical of you, I realize that you're just,
A sneaky
you
asshole.
you're a threat because your incompetence will get me killed. I can break the alliance whenever, and then I can kill you, right?
That sounds like an interesting concept
Terrible
for a battle
concept.
royale. What? Terrible? I think it's kind of interesting.
It was. Well, then it gets better though, because then apparently they were designing all these games with Twitch in mind. Like Twitch was like the #1 reason why these games were being crafted, because they wanted to merge it. So there was a 13th player, and this player would be the Twitch chat or whatever it could be, and then the chat would influence like what happens in the match. So they could sever all relationships out of nowhere, or they could drop high price loot, or change the map. And that we didn't get to test, but that was like their general idea. What we ended up getting though was not that at all. So Bren, your thoughts on the Crucible?
I think this is the most recent example we've got of a game developer being pressured from external forces into releasing a steaming pile of shit as quickly as possible
Wow.
for the consumer market, because it was clear that this game had it was being developed as a battle royale predominantly, and then they pivoted because they saw that battle royales weren't as popular, so they pivoted and created this new game mode that I don't think anyone has play tested. I actually don't think anyone play tested it. And then Jeff Bezos was like, "Yep, okay, ship it. We're good. We'll put it out there. Let the people play
I
it."
highly doubt Jeff Bezos had
Jeff
any
Bezos
say.
was the one. He was the first one to say, "That looks good to me. I want some of my money back." And then they pushed it out the door. And what do you get? You get a game with, I kid you not, I don't know who was the lead developer of this game, and I feel sorry for them because I feel like they're going to be getting a lot of shit for this game, and it's probably not their fault. They're probably being pushed down upon by Amazon executives into making a lot of decisions that are not good for the game, because the map was too big from when I played. I played the Hive game mode. Was it a Hive game mode, GV?
Heart of the Hive.
Heart of the Hive?
Heart of the Hive.
Fucking it's confusing as shit. Convoluted. Map's too big. It's like 20 different things you got to capture. Like five things you can capture. You got to get resources. You got to kill mobs on the map. You also got to kill enemy players, but the time to kill is so high that it doesn't even make any sense. The characters that they've made, half of them are copied straight from Overwatch. There's literally a Widowmaker character, but someone with a sniper and a grapple and mines, and that's it. And like that's it. But she's a fish. She's a fish person. Like that's it. That's what they've done to change her up.
She's still blue.
They call it, yeah, she's still blue. They got a Call of Duty character as well, who's the best character in the game because
OP as fuck.
Yeah, because all the other characters, they've tried so hard to make them different that they didn't think if they were good.
So
the game just doesn't work fundamentally. Like the map is too big. It flows weirdly. The objectives that you fight around, it's never worth taking fights when the hive is spawning, because if you do and you lose the fight, you just immediately lose capture of that objective and you lose the game. It's just trash. It's just garbage. Nobody download it. Nobody play it. And maybe then Amazon will reflect on what they've done wrong, sit down on a naughty step, and reconsider when they're making games.
Holy shit.
I watched you play some, and I thought that it might have some potential, but maybe people don't understand how to really take team fights in the game, because there are some MOBA elements, right? And if you hopped into a MOBA for the first time ever and you just tried to team fight all the time, I feel like you would think it was a garbage game, because you just don't understand the flow, and so you don't understand
You jumped into what?
A MOBA. You jumped into like Dota or League and you just tried to team fight all the time. You just ran it down mid, you know what I mean? You just ran towards the towers constantly.
Sure. But
isn't
there's
that somewhat similar here?
There's some skill-based nuance with MOBAs in the interim rounds between team fights, such as taking a 1v1 in your lane, last hitting the creeps, itemization, things like that. In this game, the itemization is done beforehand with your talent tree, which you pick automatically. The mobs that you kill, the creatures you kill, are not difficult. They're just brain dead. You run around, you're shooting, okay? Because they don't take much to kill. And the flow of the game, it feels like hasn't been balanced very well because this is clearly a last-minute game mode that they've implemented in the game. Yeah. Like, it just doesn't flow well when I play it. Like, I understand that there's supposed to be a flow to it, but you are punished for taking a team fight before the hive spawns, and the hive can take up to 4 minutes to spawn. So what are you doing that time? You're just farming the entire time?
Yeah, there were times and then the other problem that the game has, and if anything, I think this is the bigger issue with that game, is that you would think to yourself, and just for context, I should explain it. Maybe some of our listeners and viewers have like no freaking idea like what this game is, right? So essentially a hero shooter / MOBA-ish type game, right? It's like, think of it, if you play MOBAs, it's jungle all the time, so there's no real lanes, right? There is like one area of the map that's like a ravine, like a little ravine that you can go down that will take you from one end to the map to the other, but like that's it. And even then, it's not really that distinct. Like you can't tell. Then when you load in, it'll tell you what are some of the objectives that you can play for to try and get the upper hand over your opponent. Because obviously, like for games like this and just for all competitive games, like the idea is that you want to try and get as much of an upper hand on your opponent as possible, right? But the issue with this game is that by me going out and fetching this objective, I actually end up hurting my team because I can't get back to my team in time because the map is so massive and the movement mechanics are so bad. Some characters, like there's one character that I enjoyed playing. His name was Rahi and Brother. So it was like this guy. He was. It seemed like he was Samoan. It was hard to tell. But the character itself was like, interesting, right? Interesting model. Then it was like
Indian
or Indian, yeah, but potentially.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. He had like, I actually had like Samoan or like tattoos, but that's beyond that. So the whole point of this character is he's a tank. He's like Zarya, but his whole kit just doesn't make any sense.
They copied Zarya's kit almost entirely, with the exception of like one ability. Like they gave him a personal shield, but he can't shoot while using a personal shield. And they gave him a projected shield, but I don't think when you throw the projected shield.
No, but the other
primary his primary is fucking literally a laser gun.
Yeah,
like they. But
here's the thing. His projected shield would cover your teammate. I think it's hard to tell because literally, like, how Zarya is, right? You shoot it and you see that the beam connects with your teammate and then they get the shield, right? It doesn't work like that here. If I threw out this shield, it's literally like a bubble, right? And I would throw it out and it's like a bubble connected to something that looked like sperm. And I would throw it out, right? I have no idea if it actually impacted my teammates, but then apparently it does this other effect where if it hits an opponent, it like stuns them or it like makes their screen like white. It was freaking weird. He was OP as hell though.
He wasn't that OP, I don't think.
If you're good, he was good.
Because the range on his lightning gun. Here's another issue I've got with this game, right? The map is so fucking big, and that some of the characters are literally only close quarters. And I have no movement. Like that dude, Rahi's movement, his teleport was the clunkiest fucking shit I've ever used. It was like the game was developed in 2006. Whoever developed the character, his character, you got to reassess what you're doing, son. Maybe they were developing Monopoly Online or something before this. I don't know. But they fucking, you press shift and then you gotta literally pixel perfect aim your fucking robot onto the terrain because the map is so convoluted that your robot can never stick. It's like you're trying to Reaper teleport, but you can't teleport anywhere because it's like it's giving you a geometry error every time you're trying to place your teleport.
Yeah, every time.
Then you place your teleport, you gotta wait for your fucking robot to slowly fly up to the point that you've selected. That takes about 5 minutes, and then if you want to teleport to it, it's not instantaneous. You don't just press the button, you instantly teleport. It's a wind-up animation of like 2 seconds, and then you're stunned on the other side of it. It's just a garbage. They didn't play the game. They didn't test it.
Yeah. Okay. So apparently people did play the alpha. Like some players that I know played the alpha, and I'm just curious what the feedback was, because it's not like it just. And here's the other problem with the game too, right? Everyone kept saying like, oh, you know, like they really marketed Heart of the Hives, this game mode, quite a bit, because clearly I think they realized halfway through that Alpha Hunters, which was their battle royale duos game mode, was not good. Or not as good as it should be. So they were just marketing the hell out of this Heart of the Hives game mode, and then saying, oh yeah, by the way, we also have like this fun battle royale mode in it as well. So then I played with my buddy, and we won our first game. It was the easiest thing. I never felt so unchallenged in a game before, and it was super easy. And then when we played Heart of the Hives, you could tell that's where they put their focus in, but yet for some reason there was no focus in the actual map design, or the map was designed like a battle royale map that then they just converted to a multiplayer map. And he mentioned the mobs. Like the mobs were like a non-issue. Like none of the mobs were a threat to you. Yeah. There were no mini mobs, so like there was no one that you can like even the big thing that you have to kill in order to get a point on the board, which is the hive. Then you have to like kill it, and then you capture the hive heart. Even that was so unintuitive and uninspired. You just literally stand there and just shoot the damn thing, because it really like doesn't hurt you that much. Like if you move around a little bit, you'll dodge like it's slow ass projectiles, and then that's it. So that was the Crucible. I
also thought that the graphics were incredibly unclear. Like something that I don't feel you've mentioned very much is the insanely high time to kill. You are just plinking at people forever. Yeah, and I get that that's like MOBA-esque, you know, people in MOBAs don't, you know, one shot headshot, so it doesn't make sense to have that in a game like that. But it's so unsatisfying to even just to watch someone just be tracking someone the whole time, and their health just go bum 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 bum.
Yeah, so unrewarding.
So bad. And then also the graphics, if you're shooting at an opponent, they get outlined in red, but if you're not, they just blend into the over realistic background that just has way too much grass everywhere.
So detailed. Like the map is so it's like they designed it as like I don't know, like a campaign in fucking Halo.
Yes, it feels like a first-person game. It's like, it's honestly quite a interesting, immersive planet atmosphere. You don't want that in a multiplayer game where you're trying to shoot people. You don't want people hiding in bushes and shit.
It's all the same. There's no distinguishing features between the other areas of the map. The map is one giant canvas that looks exactly the same.
Well, there's like a sand area, and then there's a cave area, and then there's a grass area. Yeah, there were different, but like the biomes weren't biomes. They were just like little areas, little pockets that were just vaguely different from the other area, and it still was over detailed, and it was also like poorly optimized as well, because I was getting like 40 FPS like sometimes while playing, and I have a 2080 Ti and a 3900X, and I'm getting 40 frames. And yeah, I get it, I'm streaming on the same computer, but like really though, really, because I guess it's a problem I have with Valorant as well, where it's like, I mean, I'm shocked that the game's coming out in June 2nd because it's not ready. At least I don't think it is. And I love the game, but yeah, I think people just wanted to get something out there. I think that's what it is. I think people are just like, yo, Animal Crossing made fucking millions. Like, let's make millions and release our game right now in quarantine while everyone's in quarantine. And I think that's what happened.
As someone who doesn't have any idea what the fuck this game is, it sounds like it's pretty bad.
Yeah, we can move on. The game isn't very good. Don't play it. Don't waste your time with it. Amazon, I'm available for consulting if you need somebody to actually tell you if your game's bad before you release it to the public. You can hit me up.
I watched 5 minutes of a stream, and it's just that genre of a game. I just don't know what it is. It just doesn't.
That's another thing as well, Amazon. If you're listening, you can avoid all of this bad PR by actually just paying us to play the game. So next time, hit us up with the sponsor stream. Sort something out.
And you would be willing to disguise your You're
Absolutely.
just disgust for this game.
Yeah, I'd
for
sell
money.
out for the bag.
You are disgusting.
I unironically think that a content idea of a persona would actually like bang if they were so obvious in criticizing all types of shit until they actually got paid. And so when they got paid, they would actually just go way over the top and just like make humoristic, funny, positive, over the top reviews.
Yeah.
And then if they didn't get
pretty
paid,
good.
they just go the other extreme and just say everything is all trash. I think that'd be a funny
I kind
persona.
of want to talk about Minecraft dungeons.
Let's talk about Minecraft.
You want to talk about Minecraft, right? Because you're 15 years too late. Do
Okay.
you know what, GB? I played Minecraft 2010. That's when I started playing it 10 years ago. I was in my computer science class, and my friend was like, "Have you heard of Minecraft?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Oh, you should play it." And he heard about it from Notch posting on 4chan at the time. And
Oh my
yeah,
God.
that's how I got into Minecraft, and it was in
Yeah, I'm
alpha,
late.
and it was
Yeah.
it was dope. Still a phenomenal game, like
Yeah.
actually incredible.
Yeah, I'm super late, but
You enjoying it though?
Yeah, so the whole reason why I started playing Minecraft was because I was getting error code 43 in Valorant, and then I
Which
I
only
tried
happens if
everything.
you alt tab out of the game.
No,
While it's loading,
wasn't
right?
alt tabbing. It just kept happening. I had to uninstall the game and reinstall it. It was
Really?
yeah. And Vanguard is just the worst. You can't do anything. You can't it's just annoying. Anyway, it's like Vanguard's like so intrusive on computers, and like, you know, don't get me wrong, like I'm all for less cheaters, but I'm still playing the game and I'm still getting cheaters. Anyway, moving on. So the thing was, my chat was like, you should play Minecraft the whole time. And like, it was nuts. I had like over 100 viewers, and everyone was like, you should just play Minecraft. And everyone just kept spamming like, yeah, play Minecraft. So I was like, all right, fine. So it turns out like I installed Minecraft on my computer because my nephew came over from Florida and like a while ago, and I put him on to play the game. He had no idea what he was doing, but he wanted to play Minecraft. So I set him up. I had no idea either. So I load up a single player world, and dude, I don't think I've ever been backseat game that hard in my life because everyone has so much experience. So then it got to a point where like they would say something and I would read it in the chat, but I would like not acknowledge it, and then I would do it, and I'd be like,
you would rebel.
I was like, oh, you guys should have just told me to do it like this the whole time. And
Oh
everyone's
my
like,
God.
you've got to be kidding me. We've been saying it, blah, blah, blah.
I was
so it
watching
was
your
great.
first stream and I was molding because you like stumbled upon like gold or something, and you had like an iron pickaxe or something. So when you mined the gold wouldn't drop.
Oh,
because
you
you
used
didn't have a good enough pickaxe. And chat
Oh
was
my
like, no, the gold is disappearing. You need a better pickaxe. And Goldenboy, like, he was like, you could see the smile. Like, if you were a wrestler, like, you could see the smile, like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Where's the gold?
Dude. I was
funny as
fucking
hell.
with him. It was great. I loved it. Now though, yeah, we started playing it more. We like made a server, or whatever, not a server, a realm called Guildtopia. Because, you know, it's like Gilded Guild, so we just call it Guildtopia. And dude, in 3 days, like this fucking thing has become like insane. It's mind blowing how fast. And also, I want to give a huge shout out to Jamerson, who low key is like a Minecraft god. So the thing is that we're all like in our Discord, and we're just yapping away, right? We're doing shit to each other, like fucking with each other, whatever. Jamerson's building the giving tree in the middle of the water, and then he's building a smaller tree in that giant tree, and it's beautiful. And he's already gone to the nether realm, and he got all that quartz rock, so he has all this like white, like concrete centered around. It's gorgeous. It's like fucking stunning. And he's never joined the group chat a single time. He does literally everything on his own. Just fucking, I can imagine Jamerson right now in his underwear and a white beater, just freaking going hard, just like just freaking mining like a champion, dude. And yeah, so that was the thing. Another one of my viewers made an underwater temple, which is crazy. Then my friend EVP, he now makes the Gilded Gazette every day, and he writes the updates of the Gilded Gazette of like what has happened in in the fucking server. It's so good.
It's pretty good.
I love it.
That is
It's great.
pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I grew up playing a lot of Minecraft as well with my friends, but we were not like the kind of Minecraft is cute kind of audience or like role playing or anything like that. We
Oh no,
weren't
you're
those kind of
Swedish. You
people.
got to go hard. I get it.
We were the kind of people who like jumped on and tried to sabotage for each other, and it was like just a matter of time, like 2-3 hours in, someone would just bring out the TNT and it was game on, bitches. And then just everything blew up. We'd crash the server because there was too much TNT. We went hard, dude. We went hard in Sweden.
Went hard in Minecraft. We were.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I feel that. I feel that though, on a
Shit
spiritual
got
level.
mental.
When I was playing Minecraft, obviously I was like a teenager, and sometimes you have beef with your friends like temporarily, and that beef carried over into Minecraft. And we used to have some moments where we would like we would wage war. We'd all be playing on the same Minecraft server, but we'd be playing on that Minecraft server for months at a time. And in those months, you can have periods of time where you just don't get along with a certain individual because you're a teenager and you don't know, you're still learning how to be a human. You know, you're still developing emotions and shit. So I distinctly remember one of my best friends, Pat, punched me in the face. I think I might have already told this story beforehand.
Yeah,
So he
you
punched me in
have,
the
but
face
it's
on the
good.
bus, right? And I remember jumping on the Minecraft server. We had like a protection mod, so you could protect a plot of land.
Mhm.
I got around it by digging under and underneath and up into his house because he only protected the squares around in like a square. He didn't
The
protect
immediate
all
square?
of the box, the immediate square, and he didn't protect it in a box, in a cuboid. So I managed to infiltrate, and what I did was I replaced his entire floor one layer below with TNT and put a trigger pad at his front steps because he had also protected all the rest of his stuff, but what that did was it circumvented the protection rules. If he triggered the TNT, then it would the software was like, okay, it's him that's activating this block, so it's okay to destroy everything. So I destroyed his entire fucking house instantly. And the beef was so, it was like they would make movies out of this, I swear to God, because I scoped out his house like on a magic carpet because we had a magic carpet mod. I was above his house and I waited to see Paddy183 is logged in. I was like, okay, it's time. Scoped it out, found out where his plot of land was, found out where he's built his town, wait for him to log off, built the TNT, and then I waited and just waited and waited. I knew he'd be coming on after dinner time, roughly. I see him log in. I'm waiting on top of my magic carpet and I'm looking down and below. Paddy183 is logged in. I wait 5 minutes. Boom. The entire fucking place goes fucking everywhere. Paddy183 has died in the chat. His house is wrecked. He loses everything. He just logs off and never logs back on again.
There is some psychopathy to that. Yeah.
Is that?
I think so, yeah.
For him
You're
to
a
come
psycho.
after dinner, you waited for him.
You stalked him, essentially.
Yeah. What
He's
I'm
in his
saying is,
magic carpet in the sky, dude.
You
what I'm
hunted
saying
him.
is don't,
Get this motherfucker right here.
don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me because Bren's got hitters all over Minecraft.
Mm.
Dude, Minecraft is fantastic. Yeah, we did something where my buddy Bambi, he was building his home. We asked him specifically not to build his home on the lake because we were going to do something in the center of the lake. And then he just goes and does it anyway. So then one of my other friends, Killicon, he burned it down. He burned the whole thing down. And then Bambi came back and he was fucking pissed. And it was like, but at the same time, though, I went against my own rules as a monarch. So, you know, I had to give myself a timeout, wait in the jail cell for a little bit.
You gave yourself a timeout.
I did. As a fair and just ruler of Guildtopia, I had to let everyone know that, you know, your king also is not
No one's above the law. No one is above the
Although
law.
I am, but not really. You know what I mean? I am above the law, but not really. So yeah,
I have
so
to go
that's
pick
it.
up my Postmates food. I'll be
I
back
think
in
it
a
was.
Oh my God, Johnny!
I think it was the trial of Charles. Was it Charles II or Charles I? I think it was Charles I, which in the UK defined the ability of a monarch to be trialed by court, to be found guilty of crimes. So if that trial had gone the other way, then you'd be fine.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But it was found that monarchs can commit treason.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, well, yeah, it makes sense. You can totally go up against the will of the nation, right?
Well,
so
previously, treason was defined as going against the king. The king kind of was the nation, and then in it was the English Civil War, and the king had been kind of misusing the population, and so it redefined what the nation really
Look at
meant.
Bren's face, dude. He's not even here.
What are you
Talking about, we had a discussion about video games, and so naturally that led to the trial of Charles I.
Well, let's continue this conversation about video games because yes, I'm in love with Minecraft and it's awesome. I will be streaming it a whole bunch, but Minecraft Dungeons came out, and
what is that? I don't understand it at all.
Okay,
go,
listen,
Bren.
As far as I know, Minecraft is a game where you build shit, and I don't really know anything else about it.
Wait, Josh, have you ever played Minecraft?
I've played it for like 3 minutes. I built a house.
You said that in your cadence when you said that line was so unlike you.
Huh?
I don't know why.
Minecraft is the perfect game.
You don't know what I mean by that? You're
No.
like, played it for 3 minutes, built a house.
Yeah,
that was. I've never heard you speak like that.
That's how I talk now.
I've never heard you speak like that.
Well,
You sounded like you were putting on you seen Snatch? It sounded like you were trying to impersonate Bricktop or something.
well, gotta get used to it.
Sugar with your tea? No, thanks, Turkish. I'm sweet enough.
Okay, so
Anyway.
Bren, Minecraft Dungeons, go for it.
Yeah, you haven't played Diablo, have you, Josh?
No, but I understand the concept.
You
It's
understand the
a
concept?
dungeon
It's
crawler.
like
It's
You have a character, you fight monsters, you
Yeah.
get loot off those monsters, you get progressively stronger, and you beat bosses
Yeah.
that get harder and harder. The game, it gets more difficult. This is basically that, but streamlined and made pretty easy and less complicated for kids. But also, I've seen it described as comfort food. It's just a game to play, and it can be challenging if you want it to be. It can also just be brain dead, and yeah, that's it. But it's set in Minecraft.
I think it's interesting though because Minecraft, has such an incredible legacy, and when the game first came out, it wasn't what it is right now. Like obviously Notch and then Mojang and Microsoft like added more and added more and added more and made the game into what it is today. And while some mechanics even today like may not necessarily make sense, it totally that's just the core of the Minecraft experience. But what I find very interesting about this is that a lot of the reviews that came out for it were pretty much like egging the game on, like it's too simple, it's too easy, it's boring, or yada yada, and comparing it obviously to the games that it sits alongside, which is Diablo or was it Path of Exile, right? So I totally understand if you're comparing it to Path of Exile, that, yeah, for sure, it's not gonna measure up to that. But one has to wonder, like, this is the second Mojang game based off of Minecraft, right? The first being Minecraft Story Mode, which was made by Telltale mostly, and Mojang was like overseeing it, if I'm correct. But this one was made by Mojang and another studio. You have to think that they're going to be adding like a ton of stuff to this down the line. Like they're already talking about crossplay, and that's going to come out pretty soon, which is sick, especially for a game like this. But there has to be like more that they're going to add because that's just the nature of Minecraft. Like this game actually has the potential to be a great entry level, and maybe even beyond, maybe even like a serious action RPG game for an entirely new generation and years to come as well. Like for a genre like ARPGs that have, I don't want to say they've struggled,
sick, to be honest.
Yeah, they haven't struggled, but they certainly do not capture the widespread audience that
they used to be like it used to be a AAA like a genre that everyone would play and buy, like when Diablo was popping. Like, do you remember the hype around Diablo 3? Despite the fact
Oh
that it
my
flopped?
lord!
You're
Yeah, it
like
was so sick.
that just doesn't happen anymore. Like it might happen actually. I will say that I think that genre is having a bit of a renewal, if you will, a rejuvenation. I'm really
Yeah.
excited for it, actually. Path of Exile 2 is going to be coming out later this year. Path of Exile 2 looks incredible, by the way. You should watch a trailer of that. It's dope.
Wait, is that a new trailer or the one they came out with a little while ago?
They came out with it for ExileCon. I don't know if you've seen it though, because I didn't see it. It
Okay, I may
looks
not have seen it.
amazing though. It
So-
looks fucking amazing.
Path of
I think
Exile
the
2
difference-
official reveal trailer or gameplay preview? They
Might
both came out
be the
6 months ago.
gameplay preview.
There's
I
one
would
of-
do the gameplay preview. Always gameplay.
Yeah. I think
I'll
This
show
is why
some
what
on
people
stream.
say. Go ahead, John. You're back.
I am back. I've had a stressful day. I mean, Sideshow was talking about how he was spooning his freaking soup or something. Jesus Christ. haven't eaten- It's 3:30 p.m. and I haven't eaten any nutrition. I haven't showered. It's great times.
Jesus, we're all
but
we're cut
we're-
from the same
It's
cloth.
falling apart. It's falling apart. Anyway, I was saying, I think maybe one of the reasons like we don't get as much hype as more for some of these titles is because the audience is so split among so many genres and games these days compared to when Diablo 2 actually released. There weren't like a ton of top tier AAA super sick games. And so the audience was sort of forced to play like those kind of games because they didn't know better, quite frankly. And so that sort of brings back the nostalgia because so many people played Diablo 2 and so many people treasure that game, regardless of what they currently play. They can play like Counter-Strike, Dota, whatever. Like everyone played Diablo 2 because at the time it was like one of the games to play, really. And so going into Diablo 3, people had this super high expectation of Diablo 3 because the legacy that Diablo 2 brought to the gaming world as a whole. But now when Diablo 3 sort of flopped, honestly, at the start of its release, and people like they started playing Path of Exile or whatever instead, it's hard to really reach that peak again where a genre or a game that so many people were super passionate about, it just hard to repeat that. Does that
This
make any
is a
sense?
good start, though. I think Minecraft making a dungeon crawler is like you're getting the Zoomers into the genre when they didn't know about it before. And if they like the game, they might look up other games like it.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's like
yeah.
Gears of War making a tactical RPG game, right? Like Gears of War is such a mainstream brand, and then you come out with an XCOM type game, which is a genre that's typically been only reserved for games like XCOM, and you slap Gears of War on top of it, and it was like a huge hit. Like people loved it, you know. And you have to think that that also introduced a lot of people to the tactics genre, where they're going to be more inclined to find more tactical games like that. Like, I'm not talking like tactical RPGs, even though it is like relatively in the same category. But when I think of like XCOM, the only other RPG game that like sits close to it is Valkyria Chronicles, and then that's it.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
No, Final Fantasy Tactics really doesn't. It's more of an RPG. Final
really?
Fantasy Tactics is more. See, that's the thing, right? Because it's weird to explain. This is how I view it. Because Final Fantasy Tactics is a tactical RPG game like Fire Emblem, right? But Fire Emblem is not like XCOM. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I trust you on this.
I actually
one.
enjoyed XCOM. It's one of the, but isn't that? Wasn't there quite a similar, well-reviewed game to XCOM called Mario versus Rabbids?
Yes,
Something.
actually.
It
Yes,
was
fantastic game.
Actually, really good.
Yeah. It was one of those games where, again, Nintendo, they do something, and you're like, oh, this game's gonna suck ass. It has no depth, and then you play and you realize that they've layered it with just like it's an onion, man, like with how much is in there. And then it boils down to it, and you're like, dude, what the hell am I playing? It's just like watching my wife play Animal Crossing. It just, I'm like, what the hell is going on? There's a character now called Red who shows up to your island and sells you paintings. But here's the catch. The paintings could be a fake, or they could be real.
Beth was telling me about this. It's amazing.
Wait a minute, though. Even crazier is that the fox is like kind of sly and shifty as hell. And he's like, all sales are final, blah, blah, blah. So like, they're teaching children about being swindled, you
Yeah.
know? But then they're also telling kids, go online and research the paintings and learn about historical art. Like, what the hell? Like, how do
Wait.
you even think about this?
So
And
the
they're real
player can
paintings,
tell
by the way.
if they're fake or real. The player can tell
If
by
they
like.
if they research it.
Yeah, if you research what the actual painting looks like, and then you go to Red's shop, which is a really shady looking boat that shows up at the edge of your island, you go into his boat, and then you can look at the painting and you can observe it. Now, you can buy the painting still if it's fake, because if it's real, you want to give it to the museum so that the museum has it for, you know, because obviously that's another thing, right? Like about people buying real paintings and then displaying them or keeping them rather than
Sure.
giving it to museums for
Yeah.
for historical reference, whatever the hell, I don't know, cataloging. So you can keep the real painting, but you more than likely want to give it to your museum. But you can buy the fake one and then display it at home, because like no one will really be able to tell the difference if you walk in and look at it. Like they'll have to really focus on the painting.
What a
It's so
stab.
insane.
Oh, you got this fake ass painting in your Animal Crossing house.
Yeah. that Mona
Social
Lisa,
dynamics.
she got blonde hair. Shit's fake as hell, you know? Like, but it's great. It's Nintendo. Johnny, you mentioned something real fast I thought was interesting. You said that when Diablo 2 came out, there wasn't really a lot to play. And I find that to be particularly interesting because I went back and looked at when Diablo 2 released, and Diablo 2 released back in 2000. The year 2000 is when this game came out, June 29th. Now, yes. Now, here's the crazy stuff. What came out in 2000 were the following games: Resident Evil Code Veronica, The Sims, okay, Dead or Alive 2, another huge game, Pokemon Stadium. I'm going through like some of the big ones here. Soldier of Fortune, Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask came out.
Wow.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six came out as well. Perfect Dark dropped for the N64 on May 22nd. Bomberman 64 came out on May 28th. That's insane,
That was a
by the way.
great game.
That's insane that those two games came out right around each other. Deus Ex, one of the greatest first-person shooter RPG games of all time, came out on June 26th. And just 3 days later, Diablo 2 dropped. And then that same day, Jet Set Radio 2.
What?
Sorry,
That
Jet Set
came out?
Radio. Jet Set Radio, the first one, came out. And Marvel vs. Capcom 2. One of the greatest fighting
Dude, all
games
these
of
games
all
came out
time.
around the same time.
So I think it's interesting though, because it just goes to show, like, I was fucking clued in on all of these games, right? Because I lived in America where we were like all up in the butthole of console games. Like we were reading our magazines, our EGMs and our Game Informers and stuff, and they were never talking about PC games ever. So we were all led to believe that PC gaming was dead. That's what we were told. You know, like, oh, why would you waste money on a computer? It's so expensive and there are no games for it. It's dead. And then World of Warcraft came about. But it's crazy to know that Diablo 2, one of the greatest action RPG games ever created, came out. And Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Amn, actually came out on September 24th.
Holy
Fucking crazy.
shit.
And my favorite RPG ever, Skies of Arcadia, came out October 5th. That's nuts.
What a
Quake
year.
3 Arena dropped October 22nd, by the way.
Oh my lord, what a year!
Shenmue dropped November 6th.
That's
That's
an
What
insane
the-
year in gaming, dude.
Final Fantasy 9 came out around that same time. Yeah. But but above all else, one game came out that I think stands above them all. 007 Racing. Hands down.
007 Racing.
I'm just fucking around with you.
Yeah, I
That
was
game
like,
is
what the
terrible.
Wait, I've actually played
That was
I
a
think.
game?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I've
007
actually
Racing.
played that.
Yep, 007 Racing. I'll put it in the
Wait a
Discord so
sec.
you can see it. Hold on. It was a game. It was awful.
What?
It was it was like one of those games because there were so many racing games that were coming out at that time.
They just made it.
Yeah, Dave Mirra's Freestyle BMX, which that was like when all the different extreme sports were getting games, and then all the racing games were coming out. Yeah,
My God, those snowboarding games, SSX, was so good.
that's right. SSX came out around the same time
They
too.
were incredible.
Dude, it's so good. SSX Tricky is
the
like one of the best
soundtrack
games.
was unbelievably good.
So good. Run
I was
DMC
actually-
just owned that shit.
One of the
Watching
few games
gameplay.
that I was so tilted at playing that I just couldn't
Which
do
one?
it. I was actually so bad at like those snowboarding games that I actually just couldn't play them. One of the few games
It
in
was
my
so
life.
easy. It was so
Yeah.
easy.
I just couldn't tilt
Well,
me to
well,
no end.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is getting remastered, which it like makes me so excited because now we're finally gonna get this game that we should have had ages ago. But yeah, that gets me all kinds of excited because that game, that was my childhood. I stayed in my room. Actually, you guys are gonna laugh about this. So this is a Goldenboy childhood story.
Okay.
When I was a kid, me and my mother and my brother, we lived in the same apartment building for years and years and years. I mean, so long, right? And then finally, we moved for the first time. My mom was just like, "This was where I grew up," and she was like, "No, the neighborhood was really bad, so it's like we're moving." So we moved to one place. We were there for like a year, and then we moved to another place. And this place happened to be near the Bronx Zoo, which is like one of the biggest zoos in New York.
That's pretty cool.
And it was awesome, right? Nice little apartment that we had. But when we moved to our second apartment, not this one, the one that the story takes place in, but the one before that, me and my brother were sharing a room, and we ended up getting a futon bunk bed type situation, right? So the bed was really like it was made for a bunk bed, right? But when we moved, we had our own rooms, so we moved out, had our own room. So I took that bed, that top part of the bed, and made that just my normal bed, put it on the floor. Thing was that like the bottom, because you know how beds are, right? Like they're low, right? Like typically they're like a little low to the ground. Like your dog wants to get under, they got to crouch and stuff, you know. This one though was high up because again, it was made for a futon and it was made so that you can like sit up, right? So it was super high up, the legs. So the bed was just weirdly shaped. Anyway, my dog Max would go under there and just piss and shit everywhere. It was so bad. And I didn't know. I had no idea. So progressively, my room just started to smell fucking awful.
Well,
I
did you
had
not
no
know?
idea. I didn't even know because I never looked under the bed. And then then
How
I
old
started.
are you at this point?
I was a kid. I mean, I wasn't like young, but I want to say I was in middle school. So I was like
You would smell
12?
I would smell it, but I thought it was outside. So I would tell my mom, like, I can't be in the room because it smells really bad. And she's like, go look around, see what it is. Maybe Max, like, peed somewhere. And I was like, no, like, he's never in the room. But it turns out this little fucker, okay, would actually knock my door open. And I didn't realize it. He would knock the door open. He would just pee. He would pee and he would shit everywhere. So I
And then it would
never
walk out the room and close the door.
Yeah, so the reason why I remember Tony Hawk Pro Skater so well is because I was playing that game and I remember it smelling so fucking bad in that room that I stopped playing the game, and then by extension I stopped playing Tony Hawk until the second one came out.
That's
because
cool.
all I
Bad memories.
associated in my brain
Associated.
was piss and shit.
That's-
So then my mom comes over to my room, and then she like finally she realizes like, this is insane. Like, why does it smell so bad? And she wanted to like see for herself before she went down. And this went on for weeks, by the way. Like, it went on for like a really long time.
What the fuck?
Because I was just genuinely an idiot. And I was sleeping in the living room, and my mom was like, why are you in the living room so much? And it's just like, oh, I just like it here, right? I didn't know what to do. Because I kept explaining to my mom it smelled like
Oh
piss
my
and shit in
God.
my room. She
Such a
didn't believe
kid
me.
story.
So anyway, so she then goes into my room, goes under the bed, and literally sees Max at that point in time taking a dump, and she sees just a fucking sea of shit and just dried
Oh
urine,
my
and she's like,
God.
what the fuck is shit? She like loses her mind. And poor Max, he doesn't know, right? So she didn't do anything. Max just ran. He got a little startled, but he ran. And then she came out to me, and she had this like poster board of like I had a Final Fantasy poster that I had yet to unwrap, and she just whacked me right over the back with it, like so hard. She's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" She's been beating me up, and mine didn't hurt. I was like, "What are you doing, Mom?" Like, what? She's like, "Look under your bed right now." And then I looked, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's a lot of piss." That's a lot of I was like, "That's a lot of pee and cocky, Mom. I don't know what happened there." So then I cleaned it, and then I got my room back. And then I had to walk Max like every day because my brother usually did it. But then my punishment was I had to walk my dog every day, morning and afternoon. So right before I went to school, and then right when I came home, every single day I had to walk him. I got my room back, which was great. And then I played one of my favorite RPG games of all time, which was Skies of Arcadia, which is just like the greatest.
How is this rolled into your piss and shit story?
Because it's in my mind, bro. I remember it. It's like you relive your childhood. Have you ever had a situation where you smell something and it makes you think of your childhood? Right?
Well, every time you smell dog shit, you think of Knights of Arcadia.
Skies of Arcadia.
I can see where it comes from. Like sometimes the sun is just shining in a very specific way, and it hits me somewhere. Like I feel the warmth, and it reminds me of like Swedish summers where I'd sit inside and play Diablo 3. Like that just just flashed back. It's just
you're indoors.
Yeah, I'm indoors, and like the window, like the sun is shining through the window and hits me, and it just hits me one specific way, and I'm like, oh, Diablo 3. Don't you have that? Don't you listen to music and have like memories associated with music and stuff?
Absolutely, I do. But also, I do think there's something very funny about a human who associates the sun with being indoors.
I didn't have a curtain, so every day the sun would fucking shine through that window and just hit me, and I'd just be like, Swedish summer,
dude.
Diablo 3.
Swedish summer, dog.
No man is perfect, Josh.
No
man is perfect.
That's true. That's true. I'm still trying to find my perfect man.
You know what's underrated?
Do you guys have you guys ever had a dream? This is completely off topic, but have you ever woken up super depressed and just like
what?
You're just super sad and you don't understand why. And then I remembered my dream, and I dreamt that the top post on Reddit of all time, not just competitive Overwatch, but on Reddit was, does anyone else really hate Bren? And I woke up this morning and I was like, fuck, dude, what's the point?
What's the point?
Wow.
What was the top post on Reddit?
Why am I even in this? Why am I even doing any of this?
And
I'm honestly scared to just like go look at like Reddit. Like sometimes I'm just like, I don't want the pressure of like having to browse this.
Well, dude, yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, but I dreamt that everyone hated me, and I woke up super sad today, this morning, thinking that I was just like, fuck, dude, what's the point?
That's kind of weird. I mean,
I haven't had that.
I guess that implies that you do care quite a bit about what people say on Reddit, you know?
Yeah, contrary to the persona, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. There you go, Reddit. You have power over me.
Well, what's crazy is that when you go on Reddit right now, some of the top posts all have Sideshow's name on it. Sideshow is going up against Yaki from the Florida Mayhem.
I'm gonna beast
apparently
him.
you're gonna play in a Pharaoh 1v1. What goes through your mind in those moments when you, and this goes for you too, Bren, that you guys are so utterly delusional that you think that you have the capability to beat a pro player.
I didn't say I would beat him. That's the thing. I said that I would be able to get 5 kills off him by the time he got to 20. So I think I've set myself quite a reasonable task, actually, of only being a quarter. So now you're going
into this with the expectation of losing.
Oh hell yeah! So this guy's.
What's the point then?
Because the Mayhem issued a challenge to some random scrub on Twitter saying, "I bet you can't get a single kill off Yaki," and I thought, well, I'm as good as a random scrub. I can probably get a single kill.
So the next Four Heads Live then has to be Sideshow of 1v1ing people with Farah.
I think Josh is going to have a good shot at killing Yaki.
I think I'll at least get one.
I think you're gonna get more than one. I think you're gonna be surprised if you play like properly.
I'm gonna spend the whole of Thursday practicing.
Your fire aim is pretty good, actually.
It's okay.
I think this is winnable.
What's insane about
I've
this
beat reinforcing
is that people,
Custer in 1v1s on Farah, so
Right, but here's the
they're my
difference
practice
maker, right?
partners.
people on Reddit believe you could do this, which is the saddest thing.
Well, that's because to them, I am a normal human being, right? And Yaki is a freak beast. Because they're Overwatch fans, you know, it's the same way that you kind of idolize the people that you're fans of. So I represent the everyman. I represent the fan here. So they're projecting their own hopes that they could be able to do this onto me. So it's all right. I can deal with the pressure. I'm just representing the entirety of the human population apart from the Overwatch League. So I can handle that kind of pressure. No worries.
Some of these comments are great. One of them says Sideshow was and he scratched it out. I don't know why. A dribbler that was carried by really good players. No, he scratched that out and said Prem Romer in TF2.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, he can put his MGE Spire experience to good work getting bodied by Yaki here. I don't know what any of those words mean. But I do know getting bodied, so you're gonna get slapped.
Yeah.
I know about that.
Someone also posted an amazing Twitch clip of like, where was it? They said something like,
"Oh yeah, wait, you beat Custa. I watched that.
Oh yeah,
I
here we
watched
go.
that happen, but that wasn't very good though."
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit all over the place, right? It was a bit all over the place. Look at this Reddit chain that I've posted in the document though. It's someone posts about it, and then they said, poor Sideshow, Lord Yaki's about to rip him into another universe. Someone responds with, people forget what an elite gamer Sideshow was in his prime. And I was like, oh man, someone must have clipped like when I actually did well in a match. Like I can't even remember a good moment from when I did well in a match. So I was like, oh, hello. This is one of the great times on Reddit that someone picks out a piece of your past that you had even forgotten about and reminds you of how good you once were. And so I click on it. And it's when my little brother took over my stream and shouted "Pootis" while running around playing the heavy. And he can't aim. And he's amazed that he got a kill.
I
And
love
this
saying Hootis now. It helps.
This is great. This is actual content. Also, in other Sideshow news, and we have to go through because this is good content. You got your massive forehead sponsored by the Philadelphia Fusion. How in God's green earth did that manage to actually happen? I want to know. I want the play-by-play. I want to know how this happened.
Okay, so
did you actually get paid?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're processing the payment. You know what it's like with these big organizations like Comcast. There's a bit of red tape involved. It's not just a dump into your PayPal. I had to sign some vendor forms. But yeah, I had to fill out a W-9 for getting my... I had to fill out a W-9 for getting my forehead sponsored by Philly Fusion. So
you have to explain this to your tax person, maybe like, oh, what's this one for? Well, what happened was this.
That's unreal.
I don't know whether you guys noticed, but when I did the sponsored stream, I was wearing a Foreheads t-shirt as well, just to try
I did.
You know?
I saw it.
Promote the other foreheads that are available for sale. Not that I want to put words into your mouth, but you've all got some prime real estate up there as well. So,
dude, I take NYXL up here easily. I think it would look fucking great, like right here.
Yeah.
Or I'd even like etch it into. I mean, I still have the patch.
No, do you really still have the patch?
Wow.
There still has to be some kind of value with this patch, you know?
Oh God, you do.
You're
You should
horrible.
just dye that specific patch.
Dude, if NYXL hits me up and we come to terms, I'll dye this patch blue and then paint my forehead.
Have we sunk to hitherto unknown depths? Are we really that desperate for money?
Bro,
and
man,
clout?
times are rough out here, dog.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I suppose they are.
Crazy.
That's what I mean.
The
Like,
Rona.
I would love to do something like that with my forehead, but it would feel degrading. Whereas for you, it's like your brand.
True.
It's
true.
like people love
brand
it.
is
and
to
it's-
be degraded.
No. It's a different perception. It's a different perception because like Sideshow can do it and like get away with it. It spans or whatever. Like if I were to do that and just put like London Spitfire on my forehead or some dumb shit, people would be like, Reinforce such a disgusting pleb just taking money from London Spitfire.
Well,
I don't know. I feel like the perception is different, is it not?
I don't think so. I think you could get away with it, but I will say that the next company to have asked to sponsor my head is less of a meme and more of actually them trying to get marketing, and that makes it a bit weird. I will say, at that point, it's like, all right, where is it? I'm trying to find the DM that this guy sent me, but I don't know, it's miles away. I can't even remember who this guy was.
Or was it?
No, it was somebody representing. I think they're called Console Gaming League or Console League Gaming. Where the
no, that's
frick is
still.
it?
I mean, that's still something you can put on your forehead.
I mean, I'm trying to find it.
I mean, I think it
your
would be
chat
great
would love
if your brand was that you marketed things on your forehead. You know, like that actually. Like, that would work for you.
Yeah.
For sure. That would work. See, I'm just trying to get the bag. But that will work for you. Because your head is so huge. Like, not in a good way, but it's, like, really, like, you know...
Right. No, thanks.
Really
No, thanks
there.
for clarifying. Yeah.
It's really back there, right? So, it was great watching myself on Tying Games, 8 p.m. Monday, NBC. It was great watching myself on Tying Games with hair. That was nice. I remember when I had a nice haircut. Felt good. It looked
you didn't
good.
record it the other day?
What do you mean?
The Tying Games?
No, I mean I had a haircut. Well, I had like a nice haircut. Like I haven't been able to get a haircut.
That was way back.
Yeah, it was
you
back in
record it?
February. February.
Why are they only just showing it now?
Wow,
A funny thing.
Post-production.
It was supposed to be done in. We're supposed to air it next year. We were supposed to air it in January.
But they pushed it forward
Wow.
because they were like, you know what?
Well, because the Olympics got canceled.
Oh shit.
Has the
Yeah.
Olympics been cancelled? I don't think it has yet, right?
The Olympics is canceled, Bren. Well, I don't know where you've been, but the Olympics
I don't
are
think
not
it's been
happening this
cancelled
year.
yet,
They
right?
canceled
Yes,
BlizzCon today.
it's definitely been cancelled, Bren.
Yeah, and BlizzCon's
You
canceled
sure?
too. So no. That means no World Cup, man.
Probably, yeah. I mean, they're not going to run it online, are they? Japan playing against Italy.
Yeah.
Bro,
That'd be real good,
imagine the
though, like-
pings. That would be great.
Yeah.
I think a year's break from World Cup is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a product that needs to be run every year. I think a bit like in soccer, having it spaced out over every other year adds a little more value to it. Even.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what they should do is do like the World Cup every other year, or maybe every like 2 years, and then do like a big invitational tournament with a combination of contenders teams, OWL teams, whatever.
Yeah.
Like a
That'd be pretty sick,
true
I would love that.
open competition. Like
Yeah.
just
I
letting
think-
people qualify online. And
I
shit.
think their problem with that has always been what happens if the OWL teams lose. Doesn't that degrade the product? You know. But
Well, then
I would love open
then
competition.
they should be signing them. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I mean, that is the
creates
argument.
fun.
Yeah,
That creates storylines, you know?
it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow, look at this team. Maybe they're
How
going to
very
get next
sad.
year.
I think BlizzCon is like a hallmark event every year, and like dating back like 10 years, BlizzCon has always been there every year for cool announcements.
Yeah.
Reading
I kind of feel like
forums,
it's lost its
Reddit.
charm, though, as years have gone on.
Why
Nah,
you gotta be
dude.
Such a downer. I'm just
I
That
don't-
Overwatch 2
no, I
announcement
don't
made me
know.
feel away, bro. That Overwatch 2, when that showed up, I nearly shed a tear. Like, that was just...
Yeah, it's
BlizzCon is home to me. Like it feels like coming home.
it's
a little
good,
bit.
I think, for when you can tell that there's like a genuine when there's genuine love that's been put into stuff, but when they're forced to make announcements about Diablo Mobile and they know that it's not coming from like the developers obviously don't want to fucking be coming out with shit like that. It can feel a lot
Really?
more disingenuous. Yeah.
I could see a world where
Yeah.
Diablo Mobile is a fantastic game, though. Like, those...
Maybe,
those-
but it's
like,
not a
mobile
product
gaming has
that's-
been leaps and bounds better than it has been in previous years.
It's not something that the core audience of BlizzCon would enjoy. At least, as a
Sure.
like there was at the time when they announced that shit. I mean, to go back, what was it, 2 years ago now? At the time when they announced that, it was like there's a reason it became a meme is because it was largely at BlizzCon. It was about PC gaming, and then they were waiting for a Diablo announcement, and instead they got Diablo Mobile. Anyway,
Fair enough.
Okay,
And also too, I think what didn't help them was that every single website and journalist out there was reporting that they were going to reveal Diablo 4 at that BlizzCon. And I think that there was like like an article that went out that they were going to, and then they pulled the plug like last minute because they weren't ready for whatever reason. And then they just went ahead with Diablo Mobile because it was supposed to be like, we have Diablo 4. It was like Diablo Mobile's coming. Oh, by the way, also, here's Diablo 4, which actually wouldn't have put Diablo Mobile in like a bad spot. I think people would have been like, oh, cool. All right. That's like a thing I could play before Diablo 4 comes out. And they wouldn't have been bothered by it. But because they made that the primary announcement for Diablo, and it's been so starved for Diablo. Interesting. We're talking about ARPGs again. Look at that. We're right back to where back to where we were.
Circle, baby.
Minecraft Dungeons
community is in shambles, dude. Like they have to wait so long between every game. It's unbelievable. So when they didn't get like the Diablo 4 announcement initially, like damn. I mean,
why does it take so long? Why does it take so long, and why is it so?
I don't know.
Why was Diablo 3 so content starved for such a long time? Like there were things to do. I didn't play Diablo 3 a lot, but I did follow the news around it because I always found it. I just like following news on games, like period. And they would release, I think it was like the Death Knight update or the Necromancer update. But then like after that, they kind of just like was like, oh, okay.
They didn't really
just
say
do
anything
new
'cause they're working
seasons.
on Diablo 4. I was actually kind of annoyed. Yeah,
That sucks though.
the Reaper of Souls expansion was dope.
Yeah.
It's really sick. And then they didn't release anything really.
How many expansions they had total? Was it 2
One.
or just one?
Yeah, just one.
Just Reaper
one?
of Souls. I think they were supposed to make another one and they scrapped it because they were working on Diablo 4.
Yeah. But
what the hell?
They have the game in a really good place now. So like the people that like Diablo 3, they just stay around and play Diablo 3, and they just have new seasons, new abilities, new sets like that. Like it's not widely popular, but like it sticks to the core community and what the core community likes. They have repeatable content and like all of that stuff. So they put the game in a nice place as like a placeholder kind of thing.
Oh, so they just left it there and they're like, hey, what you want is right here.
Yeah.
And then when we come back with Diablo 4, then you'll have something to complain about.
Diablo 4 looks pretty interesting. It looks like it could also flop though.
Oh, dude, the graphics look incredible. Oh, it's
but the issue is with those graphics. I'm not a fan. I feel like the more detailed you go, the more chance it looks dated later on. You know what I mean?
It's just true because I was talking to a buddy of mine and Crucible.
Oh,
and I was shocked at how good Halo 3 still looks to this day. Like Halo 3 still has like, it's not the prettiest game in the world, but it still holds a candle, right, to like some of the stuff that's out there right now. And again, when you look at Halo 5, you're like, oh, that actually does look a little dated. Versus like Halo 3 had like textures in like the right areas. It wasn't like overdone, but it also wasn't it wasn't like Halo 2, which Halo 2 just aged poorly in my opinion, versus Halo 3 still looks like a quality game to this day. And then you get games like Crucible that come out that look like, you know, like over detailed. I was going to say this earlier. I feel like the map, it was almost as if like a concept artist went in and then also became a map designer. Like the concept artist was like, this is how the world will look. And you're like, damn, that looks fucking dope. And then he's like, okay, now I'm going to make the map. And you're like, wait a minute, you're a concept artist. You just do the concept stuff. He's like, no, but I also know map design. You're like, I don't know. It's kind of like going to a Chinese Tex-Mex place, you know?
That was the feedback I got from the new Apex maps and stuff. Like people weren't happy with it because like they changed it just for the sake of changing it rather than like improving what was already good.
I actually really like the new Apex map. I think it's way better than the old one.
I think it's way better than World's Edge. I think, I do.
That was not what I had heard, but
I could see though how people wouldn't like it because Skull Town was such a popular drop spot that.
Wait, they changed it again?
Yeah, they nuked Skull Town. So like Skull Town is now underwater, which was the X part of the map that everyone dropped, and that's where the majority of the map died. Yeah. So people who dropped Skull Town, it's like when Fortnite removed Tilted, and everyone's like, dude, the game's dead. Tilted's gone. And it's like, not really. But, you know, whatever. What are you going to do? Right?
Dude. Poggers.
I just thought the
Bogu.
map design was pretty poorly, but I haven't played it myself, so I cannot comment on it.
What have you been playing, Johnny? Because
Me?
you've been playing WoW lately.
Some WoW. I'm trying to do this, like, trying to get GM on DPS in Overwatch because I want to start an educational YouTube series, but I feel like I have to be GM DPS so I can actually like show it off. So I'm trying to record a bunch of content for that. I want to develop who I am, and I feel like the right thing to do there is just do more like educational content on YouTube and try to pass some of my knowledge on, because I feel like I'm in limbo sometimes. Or like I just show up for post game and I just drop some analysis and that's it. But I wanna evolve, so I'm playing a lot of Overwatch as GM. Trying to do this YouTube guide. I mean, I did play some Valorant because it would be cool to get Immortal, but then I got placed and I was like, meh.
It would be very simple for you to get Immortal, Johnny. We could literally do it today. In fact, that's what I'm planning to do.
Yeah, but
if you get Immortal,
I'm going to my girlfriend late tonight.
I'm like 3 wins away from Immortal.
You just want me to carry you. And I refuse to believe
I don't want you to carry me. You haven't been carrying me. I've played 5 games with you ever.
True. That is true. No, but I feel like when Valorant gets released, it sort of will reinvigorate the game because it's like it's out, you know, no messing around anymore, and that's sort of like I'm probably gonna try to hit like Immortal.
I lost my ranks.
Valorant, but
Oh, GB.
because when I go hard in Valorant, that's where the aim practice comes in, and like we gotta sit 30 minutes and just warm up your aim, practice aim, and then you just gotta grind. Like when I play games like Counter-Strike and stuff, I can't just chill around and like mess around. Like it just triggers the try-hard particles in my brain.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah,
it's time-consuming.
Oh yeah, true.
It is. And now imagine me, a person that didn't grow up playing keyboard and mouse. I have to spend an hour warming up before I actually feel good about my shot.
Yeah.
So I go like an aim lab and I'm just like fucking flicking and trying to do all this stuff.
Short, frequent practice is better than longer practice that's infrequent.
Interesting.
So 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, just before you play, probably better than doing an hour until you burn yourself out.
Interesting you mentioned that because I've actually been doing that with language. I downloaded the Duolingo app, and I am learning Spanish and Japanese.
Really?
Well, you actually are learning Japanese?
I'm learning Japanese.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Is it hard?
Dude, so Spanish is a lot easier for me because there's like a lot of the basic stuff that I know.
No, the Japanese shit.
No, the Japanese stuff is hard, bro. I'm still on numbers. Like I learned like just today I learned Roku and Nana is 6 and 7. And I had to so Duolingo takes you, if you don't know like jack shit about a language, they're like, we're gonna start with the number 1, go. And that's like that's how it all works.
Yeah.
Whereas like Spanish, I did like almost like a placement test to see like where I am language wise. And then my wife is learning, well, she already learned it in high school, but she kind of forgot a little bit of it, is Italian. But I told her, I was like, I want to learn Japanese. She's like, why don't you just fucking learn Spanish first? And I was like, because I watch anime, dog, and I just want to learn Japanese, bro.
I wanted to learn Korean on Duolingo, but what ended up happening was I approached Duolingo as like a game of memory rather than learning a language. So I just learned like repeatable behavior and like pattern recognition, and then just played the game of Duolingo. I was like, I'm not learning anything. I don't know how to pronounce this character in Korean.
Yeah, learning the characters is hard. Like I think that it's the characters, right? When you are learning Chinese, Japanese, Korean, like that does not come natural to us. So because of that, it makes it way more challenging. And then it does become a game of memorizing because you're like, okay, this, like, I know what Ku looks like because the icon looks like Pac-Man almost, and it reminds me of a K. So that I know for a fact that that's Ku. But maybe though, that's good because then that means that when I do see that that character, I'll know, oh, the pronunciation's ku, so this could be something ku. You know, like maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Sumimasen. Highball kudasai. Ah.
Okay.
Dude, I want to learn Japanese so bad.
That means please
You
give me a
know,
highball.
I've been doing these episodes of play-by-play with Spice Adams, the NFL.
Yeah, they've been so good.
Dude.
So
They've been
fun.
very funny. He knows Japanese. He can speak Japanese. He learned it in high school
What?
to a I don't want to say he's fluent, but conversational kind of level. And apparently, I was asking him like, why did you learn Japanese? Are you big into the culture and stuff? And so he was like, yeah, I'm pretty big into the culture, but not massively. And I was like, do you know what a weeb is? And he was like, no, man, I have no idea what a weeb is. What does that mean? So I tried to explain the concept of weeb to him without insulting him, and then asked him again, like, why did you actually start learning it? And he said that he just wanted a challenge while he was at high school. Like, the other people were learning, like, French or German or something, but he just wanted a challenge, so he chose Japanese instead. Pretty dope.
Sick.
It is a challenging language, and it's been pretty fun. Like, we're 2 days in, and I already want to get, like, the Duolingo Plus so that there's, like, no restrictions. I can sit there on my phone learning languages all day. And my wife's like, no, please, God, not another subscription. So we're not doing that right now. But eventually, though, I'm going to get that Duolingo Plus. And you better believe that my bitch ass is going to learn Spanish and Japanese. About to roll up to an event. I'm about to make that bank knowing Spanish. I'm going to do Spanish commentary. And then I'm going to take my brown ass over to Japan and commentate some Call of Duty tournaments in Japanese. Watch. It's going to happen. You ain't going to stop
A lot of
me.
Call of Duty tournaments in Japan, I hear.
Yeah, actually, it's a really popular game in Japan.
Is it? I thought consoles were massively unpopular in Japan. Oh, no, consoles are mega popular in Japan. What am I talking about?
Joshua.
It's the exact
It's like-
opposite. Oh my
Yeah.
god, my brain
No, the
is
the
melting
Xbox
today.
isn't as popular in Japan. That's the only console because it's an
I
American.
was thinking of
Call
PC
of Duty
gaming.
still popular?
I was just thinking of PCs because PC gaming isn't very popular in Japan.
PC's actually coming back in Japan. It's
Yeah, a
coming back
little
into
bit. Yeah,
favor.
right.
Yeah. Apparently, it's like
Interesting.
starting, but yeah, Call of Duty is. I'm not gonna act like it's as big as like it is here in the United States or even in UK, but it's pretty big. Like people do play the game, they are aware of the game, they enjoy the game. When me and Cynthia were in Japan, we actually I was curious. I wanted to see if there were any like LAN centers in Akihabara, and we walked around and we ended up finding one, and they had just wrapped up a Call of Duty tournament. Now, this isn't a story about how I am super famous, but obviously, guys, I
Sort
mean,
of is.
super famous anyway. But when I walked in, the guy was like in English, he's like, "Are you Goldenboy?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing here? Like, did you know about our tournament?" I was like, "No, I just Googled LAN Center in Akihabara and I found this." And the guy was like stunned, like he couldn't believe it. And then he was like explaining to his friends in Japanese. He's like, I was like, "What did you say?" But I'm gonna assume that he was like, "This is the famous commentator who is loved worldwide,
Sure.
Alex Mendez,
Yeah.
Goldenboy." That's what it sounded like. He said. Again,
Right.
I'm just
Yeah.
learning Japanese,
Just
but I'm
learning
pretty sure with
Japanese,
my
you
like
don't know.
limited language that's what he said.
Oh, I wish I was
Um,
famous like you, Golden
Yep.
Boy. Just
No, but it was
gazing
cool. It was
towards
cool to
the
kind of
golden
get.
statue, which is your forehead.
I'm just saying, I got
Incredible.
recognized in Japan, baby.
Yeah, that is
that's all
pretty
I'm
cool.
saying.
Oh.
But that said, though, yeah. So they just finished like a Call of Duty tournament, and it was pretty sick. It was like, oh, that's cool.
So,
You know?
Bren woke up this morning fearing that the entirety of Reddit hates him, and Alex wakes up every morning knowing the entirety of Japan loves him. It's different worlds that you two orbit, really, isn't it?
Well, I just found it interesting how my brain had convinced itself that the world hated me
Yeah.
so easily in my sleep. And then I
Yeah.
woke up just upset, just unwilling to continue. I was like, what's the point? I'm going to lie in bed. But foreheads? Fuck it.
I mean, you might as well at this point, the rate that we've been going with this show. Just fuck it.
We talked about a bunch of video game stuff. That's what the people want, isn't it? I don't know. I never know what the people want. What do the people
It
want?
feels- I don't know. It feels like we've recorded for 15 minutes. I know I went to pick up my Postmates, but I'm just in shambles.
It's
and
been
my
an hour
mental
and
is
20.
just
Yeah.
Boomed.
It's
So
been
we
a-
had this conversation about Reddit and stuff, And I ended up going on Reddit, and I just read comments saying I was wrong, and I was like, well,
I told you the whole point of that story from Bren is that reading Reddit about yourself is a bad idea, right? Surely that'd be the moral of the story.
You know, I want
people to love me. I
good.
want people to love me.
I don't want people to bow down to my knees, but when I try to say something
People can
smart,
only reach your knees.
I don't know. Sometimes you feel like you're smart, and then people say you're dumb, and you're
Yeah.
Okay, here's a little quote.
Welcome to my world, baby.
Hold up. Here's a little quote that I read. You may have seen actually. Jacob Wolf retweeted it, but he says, when will people learn to stop taking criticism from people they wouldn't take advice from?" And I was like, damn, that's a good ass quote.
So
that actually is really good.
Here's the thing I need to stop doing.
Damn.
Like I actually so this is I'm boomed. No. I'm digging a hole, and it's just fucking getting closer to the center of the earth, and I can feel the warmth in my feet as the solar magma of the entire
Solar
freaking
magma.
magnesium. It's just the gravity is so firm because I'm so deep into the Earth's atmosphere that it's actually this hole I'm digging is just pulling me down more than is humanly possible at our current vertical degree of the Earth center or something.
Yes, Swills wine 5 head.
I am. I'm gonna go eat
look
tacos.
it up, Alex.
Look, take it from someone who was just absolutely ass blasted by the Overwatch community at some point in time. You know what, man?
That shook your mental so much.
It did.
So much so that you, despite being in your arrogant self, you still made time for me and Josh when we had zero clout, because the Overwatch community had shaken you to your core and brought you down to such a level that you could finally converse with.
It was like watching it was like watching a gambling addict, and I kid you not, it was like watching a gambling addict, like where you're like, no, it's time to stop. And I would watch Goldenboy on his phone, just like pulling up Reddit, and I'm like, no, buddy, we all love you. You are the most precious human, Alex, and we love you so very much. And
People
you bring
were
so much. And
horrible. Like they were really, but like it was in a way that like I just did not expect at all. You know, like even reflecting on that time, like kind of getting thrusted into that situation randomly with like zero prep time because I was told about it like super late because it was supposed to be Mitch and not me. Then also subsequently being told don't say that because I shouldn't be revealing that, which I was like, whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, years later, who gives a shit? But yeah, like my thing for you, Johnny, is that you do know what you're talking about. Unlike myself, you do know what you're talking about, and that is the difference, and that will forever be the difference. So it doesn't matter what anyone says. It doesn't matter what anyone says. You want to know why? Because Johnny, you played on a stage in the grand finals of a tournament. You competed professionally, right? You put on a jersey and competed for a professional organization. At the end of the day, no one can take that shit from you. Because guarantee you, random dude number one who's like fucking plat in Overwatch, he ain't got shit.
He probably was at Tesco's.
Look, okay, I already have a boner, so let's stop right here.
His name is Bren. His name...
It's me on all my alt account.
But I've been thinking more about this, and this takes the conversation. I don't know. We were trying to stop recording, I think, and then we just kind of went down.
No, dude, we hit good territory. Make sure you chapter this, John.
Oh, absolutely.
I've been thinking about this more and more as of recent, and it's sort of why I want to divert to making more educational YouTube content, because I find that the opinion business in this day and age, it's so trash, because you're rewarded for agreeing with the general public, and if you don't have the same opinion as the general public, then you sort of get pitchforked out a little bit and like burned to the fringes. And that sort of goes against what I believe in, because I find myself to be very open-minded. I don't care about being right or wrong. That's not what I give my takes. I give it because it's my perspective, and I want to stimulate ideas to like reach the ultimate opinion and like drive conversation forward. But you cannot drive conversation forward if all you tweet is, "Oh, that's a good take. Oh, I agree with this." You know, Good take. Like, that's not how
True.
you develop conversation. And so regardless whether I'm right or wrong, I still believe in putting my perspective out there in hope that it at least sort of like sharpens a sword some kind of way, because like you contribute a little bit better to improve an idea. And so in this day and age where social media, where people have such an easy time to label people as smart or dumb or right or wrong without willing to be open to other perspectives, I just find it such a shitty environment that I sort of just want to go in a different direction. I don't know. Sometimes it just
You know, interesting you mentioned that. I think this is a broader problem with esports in general.
Well, it's not only esports, you know, it's
No,
opinions everywhere, but yeah.
No, but it is esports. So in this particular instance, it is esports, and I'll tell you why. Because, you know, in this community, we are so easily accessible to our audience that they feel the need to like put that pressure, I think, on all of us to have their similar opinions. And then because of that, we end up kind of adopting it as a result, because there's like a fear, as you had mentioned, of like, I don't want to get pitchforked out of the community for having like a different opinion. And it's why in sports, when you have individuals that are, you know, highly opinionated, why those people make a ton of money, because driving that highly opinionated, sometimes controversial opinion will drive people to watch them, which in turns drive money to their pockets, right?
Yeah.
And that is like the flow that has been created in sports, but it honestly has not been done in esports. And there's like a bunch of reasons for it. It's not just the community, but it's also like production, for example. If you say something bad, right? Oh, this team owner might get mad at you for saying something bad, and thus you can't really say what you want to say, because then if you do, then, you know, people get in trouble and stuff. And it's like, but like, you should be allowed to have an opinion, because it's just like an asshole. Everyone has one. It's just an opinion. Let them say what you want to say. Obviously, you're not going out there saying like, oh, X player is just absolute garbage. Like, you're not saying that.
Well,
but,
sometimes. But
Sure.
you know, I regret that. You know,
But-
I apologize for that. It happens.
Maybe you
But-
shouldn't say that, but you know what I
That-
mean. Like,
Yep.
that's the thing. Yeah. I don't know. That's my take on it. It
got
then
very
again,
sad.
and then you
I'm
could be like
sorry.
Bren and Josh. No, and then you could be like Bren and Josh, that are just like in the embodiment of Reddit. You know, like
Oh,
they
my
are.
God.
No,
Don't
put that
even
on them.
do that to me.
I am Reddit. Yeah, it's a good point. Good point. So when are we getting rid of Alex from the podcast?
Fair enough. You know, guys, it's my contract's up. You know, I got a TV show now. You know, it's gonna cost too much money.
Yeah, I'm
What
sure
can I
it would.
say? But reality is, though, you
Dude,
guys are all good at your
okay.
jobs. So don't worry
Custer's
about it.
Cats, I'm not kidding. They've been doing a couch stream downstairs this whole time. Just real quick before we close out, just gonna add this. The cats sound like tornado alarms.
For our audio
Hello?
listeners,
Wait, what the
Josh
hell?
just fell off of his chair randomly out of nowhere.
Hello?
Sorry.
What?
I always forget that this tips back if I lean back on it.
What in God's name?
Sorry. If I stretch on this chair, it tips backwards.
Do it
You
again.
gotta be kidding me.
I missed my grab on the desk, which normally
Bro,
Do it
saves
again.
me.
Do it
His
again. Do it
face,
again.
his
Your
face is
grab.
so good.
My grab, yeah, like I can grab the desk. So like if I lean back to stretch my back, I need to grab the desk in front of me with one hand. Otherwise, the chair tips.
Why would you take
backwards.
that risk?
Well, I just forgot I needed to stretch my back, and so I was just trying to stretch my back. And obviously, you lean backwards when you do that.
Wow.
Fell over.
So anyway,
you,
Custer's
dude.
Cats, they sound like a tornado alarm.
Oh, like,
Yeah. It's like the open. It's like it's like that. Yeah, they're very, very, very peculiar because I think they're
Why?
not getting any attention because they're streaming on the
Yeah.
couch and they're not. They're like, oh, there's a bunch of people downstairs.
Go and
but
love
they're
them.
not giving us attention.
Go and give him some love.
Custer told me to not give them attention when they cry because then they just end up crying at him all the time.
Oh.
how many cats he has?
7.
2? 7. So Custer's a cat lady.
72.
Custer's a
That's
cat
crazy.
guy, but I think he was forced to
lady.
become a cat guy, right? Because when you're a pro player, cats are quite self-sufficient.
But only when you're a pro player.
Why would you need a pet?
Yeah,
He's not a pro player anymore.
but he got them when he was a pro, so he needed an animal that could take care of itself that wouldn't need.
That's like the most
Constant attention.
random thing. Like, oh, I'm a pro player for, this professional team. Some cats. Like
Yeah.
who thinks
Absolutely.
about that?
Well, I do. I've been thinking about getting a cat or some pets, but I'm like, I wouldn't be able to take care of it because it just wouldn't be fair. I'd be traveling too much, which is unfortunate because I really like animals. I want a
would be
dog. I
best
want a
if you
big,
didn't.
just a big fucking dog. Just like a big old bastard that was like one step away, one generational step away from wolves.
It would be great
No.
for the creature if you did not do that.
I am
They have to
very
be a
good at
medium.
taking care of animals.
I actually believe that. I think Bren is a very caring guy, and I actually think Bren would spend a lot of his time caring for the dog and making sure it has everything it needs.
You wouldn't see me
regular
anymore.
walks.
Well, I
You
mean, we
wouldn't see me
barely
anymore.
see you for this thing,
You
so
wouldn't see me anymore.
you get there at the last second.
The
So I
reason
guess I would-
sometimes why Bren is such a fantastic and lovable friend is that it sometimes takes care of people more than he takes care of himself.
It's not true.
Oh.
I don't think that's true, but
I don't-
I'll take the compliment.
I don't think Brent takes care of himself, so there's a low bar to set there.
Oh,
appreciate
man.
it,
Well,
Carl.
this is why I'm getting out of the
Regardless.
opinion business.
Real quick before we close out, we did get some. Hold on, I want to see. We did get some YouTube comments that were pretty solid. Most of them were just.
We talked about Reddit comments, and you want to go on YouTube.
Most of them were just mad about Josh sucking at Avatar, not knowing what Avatar was. They were just mad.
I got a lot of comments, it's DMs sent to me, being or people asking me on Twitter saying, "Wow, you had some of the dumbest takes the last week," and I think it was just people that I insulted about Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was either that or the comedy stuff. It might have been about the comedy stuff, but I stand by that.
So we did also get some reviews that came in. We had a few of them. One of them. Yeah, a couple 5-star reviews, guys. If you want to leave a 5-star review, we'll read them in the show. We'll love to read it. Only if they're 5 stars. If they're not 5 stars, we will not read them. So there you have it. Let me see. Did I read this one?
I like this one.
Yeah.
It's from it's_troublesome on the 22nd.
I knew you were
of
gonna
May.
fucking say that one.
And,
Go ahead.
It says, "What is Goldenboy's ethnicity? What is his wife's name? Did he work at Twitch? Why does this boomer not know how technology works? These questions and more will be answered with some of the most Papega hot takes in the world." It really does seem like the audience has narrowed down exactly what you talk about in every episode. I feel like you could be replicated by an AI.
That's that's a result
I've
of
been
success,
married
though.
for 12 years. What am I supposed to do?
No, but that's good. It's a good thing. It's like when people talk about Joe Rogan, about how is he hunting, eating elk, keto diet,
Yeah,
people know about
DMT.
People watch this show so
DMT.
much that they know so much about you, Golden Boy. It's because they
I
love
like
this
that.
show, because they love you. It's a result of our success.
I want somebody to
Yeah,
transcribe
yeah.
every episode and run it through some Markov chain generator to generate.
Ooh.
God,
it
that would be
thinks.
incredible, actually.
You think
What
we
it
could do an
thinks we
AI
sound.
episode of the foreheads where we read it off?
Jesus, that'd be good.
That would be great. If someone is listening out there, because obviously our audience is smarter than us, there has to be some way that you can take all the episodes of the foreheads and then throw it into some kind of AI, and then it prints out what a script would be for an hour-long episode of a podcast, and we read it. And we read it.
That would just be
word for word.
incredible.
Oh,
A couple other reviews here. This one is from Anchor OW. Wonder what game he's a fan of. It says, Papega. This podcast is of utmost papegery. However, papegery is my favorite subject. From serious conversations about AI to Bren contemplating opening a bee farm, this podcast includes some of the best personalities in esports. Goldenboy, national treasure, global icon. He got it wrong. That's fine. Bren, the biggest intellectual known to mankind.
He got it
Dear
wrong, but
Lord.
that's all right.
Sideshow, a person who molds continuously. Actually, I think that can be reversed. In an intellectual should be in quotation marks, because we both know that's not true for Josh. And then last but not least, Johnny, All in all, this podcast talks about any topic known to man and makes them interesting, immersive, and entertaining. This podcast has brought much joy to many people in this dark time, and we thank you for that. Well, we thank you so much, Anchor, for that one. We also had one more. This was done, as a matter of fact, this one was done just 3 days ago. It's from Owen Towns, and he says, Foreheads, a group of men that talk about things they know moderately about. I don't know why I find that funny, but it's like moderately about, and often devolve into ramblings. These are some regular ass dudes. However, their regularness, quote unquote, is charming and relatable, and their banter is often hilarious. Highly recommended. Thank you so much.
I mean, don't you smart a little bit, Alex, at being called a regular dude? You're a global icon and a national treasure.
Yeah, it does bother me. That's why I'm going to read this next review.
You're a TV host.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to read this next review from Blitzing Card. It says, absolutely amazing podcast. You bored and sad in quarantine we'll not know further the cure for depression with The Rock's friends, the 1v1 professional Bren, the Swedish legend that is Johnny Reinforce Larson, who doesn't get the respect and cred on his name he deserves, and some random feeder named Sideshow. Thank you for your amazing content.
Yeah, all right. That's pretty good. It's a reverse on the normal meme. I appreciate that.
There it is, guys. We also have to do a podcast about the advances in AI, because I'm sure that with COVID-19 there has been a lot of advances with artificial intelligence. Right?
Probably tons, Alex.
There has to be something out there. I know. We talk about it, and then Johnny gets, and then Johnny can't talk about it. Oh, do you have a wholesome story for the day, Johnny, or no?
Okay, give me a minute.
Okay, we're gonna give him a minute, and then we're gonna close out the podcast.
Talk about how Bren had some AI dream where he woke up and he had to put a chip in his brain or something.
Did that happen? Because it wouldn't shock me.
I just made something up that screams Bren to me. I don't know.
Oh, and people also in the YouTube comments were really bothered about how I devolved Batman versus Superman in such a way to just say, have you guys watched Batman versus Superman at all since that episode?
I watched it before that episode and I couldn't remember anything about it. So
you guys just show how good that movie was.
Yeah, I should probably tell you everything about that movie.
A lot of people on YouTube angry about they were angry about Josh's really just awful takes on Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Very reasonable takes. I had other people DM me saying that.
I don't know if that is reasonable.
I had other people DMing me saying, yeah, it's a kids show with not much character development until the end of season 1, which is, I said that I was going to carry on with it. Show me the proof. I haven't watched much yet because I was watching Broadchurch instead, and I quite like that.
What's Broadchurch? What is
it's a UK drama, kind of murder mystery, but also just kind of family drama. It's pretty good.
Have you guys seen
David Tennant,
Afterlife?
Who's very good
at all with Ricky Gervais?
Oh, with Ricky Gervais. It's on my watch later list, but I haven't.
It is fantastic, bro. Yeah, that's one that it's like. We talked about comedy when we fixed comedy in that last episode.
Yeah.
And I find that show to be so interesting because it's about it is really dark, but there are some pretty funny moments there. And the second season has some like really funny moments and then some like interesting twists and turns. But it has a purpose, or at least on the surface it does, at least to me. So I guess maybe you're right that comedy at times should have a purpose. But then the other day, I saw Dudes, Where's My Car? And it's just great. It's just two guys trying to find their car. And they were high as shit. It's just great, dude. All
right.
Johnny, go.
I couldn't single out a single story, so I'm going to do a quick run of 3 different stories because we've had a pretty sad episode, I like to believe. A pretty good episode, but, it's been a bit sad time. So... No, I don't know. Maybe I'm just boom. So the first one is Crayola launches Colors of the World skin tone crayons. So instead of children painting themselves as like blue, green, or whatever, they're releasing a pack with all the skin tones in the world. So kids, when they grow up and they want to color themselves, they now have all colors available. So no matter who you are,
nice.
This is one for you. I find this a great thing.
Do they have transparent for Bren? Just so white
Oh
you
my-
actually see through.
No, it should be translucent.
Do they
Yeah.
actually have really
Translucent.
white? Yeah, I guess they do, but not really. No, actually, I don't think my skin color is on the list.
Is brown there? Hell yeah. No, your skin color's right there, Bren. I see it. It's white as
Oh
shit.
my
It's labeled.
God.
You got to zoom
I-
in.
What very light? What is that? What very light rose? Or
I
extra light something? I don't know what
I
that
think
is.
you're more very light almond. No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
what?
Yeah, there's extra light
almond?
almond. That's
Yeah.
You think I'm extra light almond? I don't know, man.
You know,
I
actually,
actually
no.
think I'm whiter than that. I'm not gonna lie, guys.
Yeah, you might be
What's-
right.
Just change the color balance on your camera.
I think you
Fine.
might be
Oh, I-
very
I-
light rose,
I think
actually.
I'm light medium golden. I'm light medium golden.
Dude, I
That's
am,
what I am.
so incredibly pale. I think none of these colors match me.
Dude, no. The what is it? The light almond. Yeah, the extra light almond, bro. Look at that one. That's white as hell. You see that? You mad
No.
white. That's
Wait.
it.
Oh my god, I have flux on my PC.
Yeah, I've got a
That's
bunch
why.
of fucking saturation on my PC, which I
Oh.
think is
Yeah.
what's causing me to think.
By the way, the image for our audio listeners is like a circle, and they put all the text in the circle, so you actually have to tilt your head in order to read what the colors are.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh,
okay.
okay. Now, yeah, okay. The almond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I like how they
Alright.
said almond, but it's like more the inside of the almond and not the outside.
Alright.
There's
What
a
else you got,
crayon
Johnny?
For Bren. Okay, next one. Costa Rica celebrates first same-sex weddings. So,
Whoa.
you know, always a good thing. Always good that it spreads throughout the world. That more and more. What?
Sorry, I'm giggling.
More and more homosexual
giggling, but-
couples can get wed.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be giggling at this time, but I opened up both of the links, right? I like pre-opened the links to the stories that are the wholesome stories. And so I had open your next wholesome story about coronavirus, and you said it's always good when it spreads. talking about rights
are-
talking
You're
about
morbid.
same-sex couple rights. And then I had opened up COVID, and you were like, it's always good when it spreads. And I was like, oh God, Johnny's lost it. He's absolutely lost it.
You are absolutely morbid, aren't you?
I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay, no. I'm sorry for ruining it, Johnny. I'm sorry.
Oh, same-sex weddings. Good.
Yeah.
Hope you
Cool.
live good lives. We cheer you on. If I ever get an invite to a same-sex marriage, I will be there and throw flowers and stuff. Trust.
Throw flowers. Isn't it? The people attending don't normally throw flowers.
I don't know.
Just
you
lobbing
throw
bouquets.
shit at them. I don't know.
Sometimes-
Confetti.
Throw some shit.
Yeah.
You throw shit at the wedding. I don't know what weddings. I didn't get anything. What did we get anything thrown at us? I think we didn't want to because I didn't want to get hit with rice or whatever. I thought it was like ridiculous. Like people throw rice at weddings, and I'm like, yo, you think I'm trying to get hit by raw rice? Get the fuck out of here! I ain't trying to get hit by that. It's gonna get all over the place. It's gonna get in my beard and stuff. You know, I'm not trying to do that.
Oh
Anyway,
my
moving on.
God.
Next story,
Anyway.
Johnny.
Yeah, and finally, gradually, if you go to covid19.who.int and you go to deaths over time and you look at the daily chart, you can see that gradually deaths are gradually declining. Anyway, that's what
Yeah.
Reddit said. So
Can we
I
give a
posted
shout
that one.
out to Australia and Greenland? Because Greenland had 12 confirmed cases, 0 deaths.
Greenland has a population of like 400.
That's still impressive. Well,
Is
okay, it gets even better. Australia had 7,118 confirmed cases and 102 deaths.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. That is good.
Australia though, from what I've seen, I mean they've done pretty well with it. But I've got a lot of family in Australia, a little bit more right wing leaning, and I guess at this point you can make an argument that maybe you don't need as harsh lockdown rules. But yeah, it's
Yeah, well, right now, the
think you're gonna
United
start
States is
opening up
starting to
pretty soon.
flatten, but Russia is actually climbing, which goes to show you.
Brazil's climbing as well. But again, this was supposed to be wholesome, so
Yes, it is wholesome. That's right. That's right. Shout out to Greenland. Greenland's
Greenland
crushing the game.
hardly. Do you know what? Someone was in my chat last night who was from Greenland, and he said his city has 500 people.
Wow.
Population of Greenland.
It's hardly anything, man.
56,000 people is a lot of people.
That's the population of
Alright.
Gloucester.
That's still a lot of people, though.
It's kind of
not
interesting looking at the countries that took a more relaxed approach to the lockdown, like Sweden and Japan. They have so many more deaths than their neighbors.
Positive. Stop.
Sorry,
No.
Johnny. Sorry. No, absolutely.
Yep.
Well, but remember, Japan's culture, they are, like this is a very common thing to wear masks in Asia and stuff. Whereas in the United States, everyone's like, hey, you out there wearing a mask is not good,
I'll also say, in Japan, it's a lot more. I think they're a lot more mindful of other people. In terms of
what is it that they're mindful of people, or they're just mindful of their own personal space? So everyone's like really mindful of like
both.
that they don't want people in their business.
It's like I don't know what it is, but the culture in a lot of Asian cultures is being mindful of others. And when I noticed that when I was in Japan, like it's or
Holy
even in
shit! I
Korea.
spilled water on my phone. Fuck.
Oh, get the rice out, Johnny.
Get the rice.
Get the rice out
Get
and
the
throw
spare
it.
rice.
Throw it at
but yeah,
throw it at a bride and groom.
Japan didn't do any. They didn't have a strict lockdown, but they had recommended actions. But they didn't like close down business or anything. They just said, wear a mask, avoid confined spaces, try to avoid other people where possible.
And that's actually something that Japanese people do a lot. Is very well known that in Japan they don't really stay home and game. They like go out, right? Like so, people are spending a lot of time in open area.
But yeah, I mean, open areas are better than closed areas. But also, I think in Japan, even if it wasn't essential, a lot of people would be quite mindful of others and respectful, right?
Yeah.
And follow it as if it was almost essential and forced by law.
Versus when I went out to Prospect Park here in Brooklyn on Sunday, I just went to go see my mother-in-law because it was her birthday, so we were all getting together, social distancing and stuff. It was a madhouse in Prospect Park. I mean, thousands of people just doing their thing. And you know what? I can't blame them. You've been like a lot of people have been trapped in at home, so I totally get it. But my goodness, it was startling to see that many people outside, and I'm curious to see what ends up happening. That said, though, Johnny, that was great. Thank you so much for your wholesome stories.
Anytime. I hope
Shout out
smiles,
to Greenland.
Happiness, serotonin. I wish everyone.
I need to get some sunlight, man.
Yeah. Get that vitamin D in your life.
Yeah, I'm gonna go read outside.
And also that vitamin D.
A personal thank you to everyone who listens to this show, gives us reviews, thumbs it up. You guys are lovely.
Josh's face when I made that terrible joke. It was awesome.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, John.
Whenever I hear vitamin D, I just
let me get my sunlight. Close us out.
All right, fine. There you have it, folks. Thank you so much for listening and watching the Foreheads podcast. We started off strong. We had a great middle. We had a really good end, and then we kind of teetered off there. That is the quality of a podcast that you can expect. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, rate and review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read only your 5-star reviews because it helps us. We don't get paid for this. We make no money off of this darn thing. But hey, might as well try. Someone in YouTube asked about merchandise. We did have a line with Ult that came out a while ago. Don't know if we'll ever do it again. We'll see. Maybe. Who knows? If enough people want a forehead shirt, maybe we'll go ahead and do it again, and we'll reach out to Ult. That said,
destroyed mine, so I need a new one.
Come on, Johnny. Subscribe to YouTube. Leave us a comment on there. If you're watching this on the premiere on YouTube, we thank you so much for tuning in, checking it out. I jump in from time to time to chat with you all because I am a man of the people, and I'm super humble. That's it. Thank you so much for watching Foreheads Podcast. Peace. Later. Woo.